day of destruction, devastation, and misery. Precious human lives lost, homes destroyed, and a whole community flattened. A summary of the Appiatse explosion and its aftermath. It was just to be another Thursday in the small mining community along the Takwa-Bogosu Road. But as the entire nation will come to learn shockingly, a truck transporting explosives to a mining site was involved in an accident leading to the detonation of explosives contained in the vehicles. Intensive assessment by first responders revealed 17 people lost their lives in this heart-wrenching disaster, with hundreds injured and displaced. A once vibrant community was now on its knees in a passionate appeal for help. This was a real test of leadership, right from the local authorities through to central government. A test which was faced head-on by all agencies concerned, especially the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Just a few hours after the unfortunate incident, a high-powered government delegation led by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia visited the scene. Boots on the ground to appreciate at first hand the extent of devastation and to provide immediate support in food, medical supplies and temporary shelter for the victims. The visit did not end at being just an information gathering trip. Having satisfied himself of the shared devastation on the ground, Vice President Dr. Bawumia committed to the immediate collaboration between the Lands Ministry and the State Housing Company to ensure the reconstruction of the community in the shortest possible time. This was an assurance of the utmost seriousness that government attached to this situation.
For the houses that have been destroyed, we are already beginning to think about how to rehabilitate and rebuild for the community here. So I want to assure Nananum that His Excellency the President has given us directives. I've already spoken to the State Housing Corporation, and with them and in consultation with the mining companies around here, we will quickly try to put in place facilities that will help those who have been displaced.
After the first visit, there was already so much to be done. The Land and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abu-Jinapor immediately interdicted the Chief Inspector of Mines, who was responsible for supervising the transportation of mining explosives, and commissioned an investigation into the event that led to the incident, with particular emphasis on Maxim Company Limited, the producer of the explosives in question, and Chirano Mines, the recipient and intended destination.
And a twinchen kesiye why and a yen juma, why na yen juma, why na say ye de sobo bono, why ye say de sobo bono. Bruni bekase investigations. Na sa investigation is a pense muno sono. E bet ma yen pense mu bebre. Ye di kan police for bit ma ebe ye omodie. Ghana Fire Service for be ye omodie. Minerals Commission for asoye ehye me masisi. Omo so ye omodie. Ye sam pense mu nyina bia ene ebehu ne kura ewom nam se ne mu nyina mutie FM radio for we sise ne siye we sise ne siye we tu e kofa ba ye ni we tu we ne kofa ba ye si ebehu ne esi titiro a na ebegina nhwehwemu no na wieye ene be kire ye siye.
Prioritizing the welfare of the survivors and their families, Samuel Jinapor had the arduous task of initiating efforts towards reconstruction of the community. And he did just that, starting with the inauguration of the Appiatse Support Fund and a board of trustees chaired by the Venerable Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi.
On the instructions of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has decided to launch, quote, the Appiatse Support Fund, end quote, to raise funds from the general public to, among others, support the victims of this unfortunate incident and to reconstruct the community which was brought down by the explosion.
The fund drew and continues to draw appreciable donations from corporate Ghana and other well-meaning Ghanaians, including President Akufo-Addo, who was the first donor to the fund.
I have my widow's mite. I have 100,000 CDs. that I'm going to devote to your fund. And you will not go away here empty-handed.
With the fundraising committee already hitting the grounds as instructed by the Lands Minister, it was time to get a committee to oversee the actual reconstruction of the community. And so the Minister, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, inaugurated the Appiatse Reconstruction Committee, with membership drawn from various professional bodies and also representation from the local authorities, chiefs and people of Appiatse.
We are assembled here to outdoor the Appiatse Reconstruction Project Implementation Team, which is a multi-sectorial, multi-departmental team to oversee the reconstruction of the community.
By the third visit to the town, an architectural plan was ready for the redevelopment of Appiatse. It had been quite a troubling series of weeks for the people of Appiatse. Reports of conditions beyond physical mutilation to psychological trauma and other psychotic events that necessitated the presence of the team of psychologists to provide the needed counseling and psychological services to victims. And so the sight of children playing heartily in the makeshift tent provided really positive signals that the community was on its way to recovery. Even as the Lands Minister led efforts to build back Appiatse, there was a significant need to forestall any similar future occurrence. President Akufo-Addo felt strongly about this. He directly asked for an expanded investigative committee whose recommendations will be used as a guide for the transportation of explosives in the country.
When an incident like this happens, it calls for some serious review of safety measures, following the discourse in the newspapers you're hearing. Apparently some of the chiefs saying that, for instance, the van in question didn't have a police escort. I don't know. Is it in the rules? Must there be a police escort and all of that? But I think that it gives us an opportunity to look at the whole regulatory framework, focusing on safety as far as mining activities and the development of the mining sector is concerned.
It is worthy of note that the initial investigations commissioned by the Lands Minister led to a $6 million fine and payables being imposed on Maxam for its involvement in the accident. the minister provided a detailed account of the efforts being made in Appiatse to Parliament.
On Friday, 21st February 2021, I, as the minister responsible for lands and natural resources, directed the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission to interdict the Chief Inspector of Mines, who, as I indicated earlier, doubles as the Chief Inspector of Explosives, pending the conclusion of investigations into this matter. I further directed that the registration of Mazam Ghana Limited with the Minerals Commission be suspended whilst investigations are conducted into the mode of their operations. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to these instructions, mine inspectors from the Minerals Commission on Saturday, 23rd January 2022, closed down Maxam Company Limited and stationed 2 mine inspectors there to guard the facility day and night. Mr. Speaker, yesterday, Monday, 24th January 2022, I received a preliminary draft report from the Minerals Commission. Following this report, I have since directed the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission to suspend the registration with the Minerals Commission of Josedek Logistics Limited, the subcontractor that was transporting the explosives. Investigations are ongoing to ensure that no breach of the regulations is allowed to go unpunished. Mr. Speaker, I expect the final report on this matter soon. This will inform the next courses of action.
In a matter of weeks, the once totally ravaged community of Appiatse is gradually finding its feet again. The portions of the Takwa-Bogosu Road, which was destroyed by the crater formed from the explosion, is being fixed to allow for vehicular flow again. As work progressed on restoring different portions of the destroyed community, another disaster struck. A heavy rainstorm ravaged through the temporary tents provided for the victims of the explosion. But the ministry, as expected, stepped in with immediate relief, assuring that the about 800 victims from the 125 affected households were being moved into the government-secured temporary structures. Today, it is not just an assurance, it has become reality as the people move in now. Leadership is an essential component of nation building. It becomes even more essential when disaster strikes and there's a scramble for basic survival. That leadership is what Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abujinapo has shown in his handling of the Appiatse disaster and its aftermath.
Simple as I may see no Bialam Waya, Kayaze Fayan. I had the minds of Wasi, or my brain for what they my young folk. Mufan paying for committee for Inara, or Piano Quadro. Damn, no, what the young boy ever could have. Sissy Alampuama, and Dame, yet them.
A lot more remains to be done. But, like the chief of Appiatse said, the efforts of the minister together with his team gives hope of what more is to come.
Meta minister as well at the Cassia, why ne Bambo Cassia, or Bomayan, Yadana Sube.